Am I the a-hole for throwing my rings in the ocean after my husband told me he had an affair, even though it was a prank? This is the dumbest thing that's ever happened to me in my entire life. This past Sunday, my husband and I, male 29 and female 27, were on our boat together. We were just relaxing and talking and having a good morning. All of a sudden, my husband gets really serious and tells me, "Baby, I'm so sorry, but I have to tell you something. I'm so sorry, please forgive me. I had an affair." For context, my husband thinks he's a comedian. He says dumb stuff all the time, but he's never joked about our marriage or relationship or cheating, ever. The way he said it, I fully believed him. I was blinded by rage and hurt, and I am not a confrontational person at all, so all I did was stand up, take my rings off, and throw them into the ocean. I don't even know why I did it. It was just the first thing I thought of doing. My husband's jaw hit the floor. He immediately started to yell at me that it was a joke, a prank. He wasn't serious, and I was an idiot. My jaw dropped then too. I yelled at him too and called him the same. I cried too, realizing I just threw my lovely and sentimental rings into the ocean. We've been arguing for days. He says I'm the a-hole, I say he's the a-hole, and I have no idea who's right. Yes, admittedly, I threw about 10K worth of rings into the ocean and we will never find them again. But he looked me in my eyes and told me he had an affair. I am upset about my rings. I've apologized for throwing them, but I just don't feel like the a-hole. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. The fact that your husband thought for even 1 second that this would be funny tells me he's a stooge. And then to blame you. That was cruel, unfunny, and almost undeniably a permanent scar on your marriage. Over a sick joke. And please, for the love of God, stop apologizing. Those rings would still be on your finger if not for his complete and utter stupidity. This is 1000% his fault. Has he apologized? Yes, stop apologizing. And ask how he's going to replace the rings he owes you. And no more jokes. I would make clear that the next time will be the last time. If someone lies to you about your child being killed in a car accident, then tells you later that it's just a joke, that doesn't change the traumatic experience you just had of believing your child is gone. Making someone experience trauma isn't a prank, it's engaging in cruelty for your own amusement. Right, it's like yelling, "Fire!" in a crowded theater, and then claiming the right to free speech. Husband isn't a comedian, he's a freaking a-hole. OP's husband is displaying some sociopathic behavior by not understanding that. A prank is a trick played on someone in order to make them look foolish and amuse others. Unless you have good reason to hate someone and feel justified in hurting them, then pranks by their nature are sociopathic. You're literally using someone as an object of amusement against their best interests. Yikes, not the a-hole. He brought up having an affair because he wanted to get a reaction out of you. He got one. He literally said the thing he thought would rile you up the most. Yep, this was a fool around and found out situation and the husband found out. Hope he's not the a-hole because she was hurt and in shock. The least his husband can do is own his sad effort to be funny by pranking his wife. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Not the a-hole, all on husband. Don't joke about serious things. Next story. I told my friend her husband cheated with his cousin's wife. My friend got married a few months ago to her longtime partner. The wedding was beautiful. We ate, drank a lot, and had a great time. They had about 300 people and had lots of entertainment. This is important later. Fast forward to last week when I was running errands and saw my friend's husband at a local Target. We made eye contact, but it wasn't himself. He usually is very friendly and talks a bunch because we've all known each other for a long time. He was nervous and looked uncomfortable, plus he was being very short with me. I got the hint and was telling him bye when a girl started calling him babe, and it wasn't my friend. It was very awkward, but I knew I recognized her from somewhere. I was so bothered that I rushed home and started looking through my photos, and boom, I see her. She was at their wedding. She is his cousin's wife of all people. In the middle of me flipping out, I was explaining to my fiancé what happened and he was, like me, blown away by the audacity of this dude. I had to tell her. I got all my feelings together to calm down and made a call. It was one of the worst things I've had to do. They have what people think is a fairy tale life, and it was hard to tell her what I saw. She was in denial and yelled at me. I did snap a pic of them at Target. I needed to have proof, and sent it to her. Out came the waterworks. She apologized for yelling and told me she needed to call her dad. Before she hung up, she said she didn't want to talk for a while. I messaged her yesterday to check on her. I just wanted her to know I was thinking of her and hoped she was okay. To my surprise, I got a response and she asked if I could talk. I said yes. My phone rang, but it wasn't her. It was him. He started cursing and yelling at me for ruining his life. He said her dad and uncle have asked for reimbursement for some of the wedding expenses, mainly the entertainment. At the wedding, a quartet, band, and DJ were the entertainment throughout the night, and it was an open bar. All his request, grand total of $18,000. They threatened to take him to court if he doesn't pay up. They are both retired lawyers. Lol. He signed a prenup because my friend has her own salon, and that was her condition in order for her to get married. Needless to say, he will not get anything, and he was complaining to me about being broke and homeless. He told me I should have kept my mouth shut and stayed out of all this. While on the phone with me, she walks in on him and hangs up. I feel bad for my friend. Am I the a-hole? Edit. Why do I ask if I am the a-hole? So I am getting a lot of backlash from a few friends and their family. Again, we all went to school together and I know parents and extended family. They're basically telling me it would have come out eventually and they could have worked it out in private. I was even called jealous by a different cousin of the groom. I told him to eat turd because he was caught cheating on his wife a couple of years ago, so his opinion of me was irrelevant. The groom's cousin had no idea, so you guessed it, another divorce in progress. I am anticipating messages and stuff from them too. I don't feel bad for what I did, because that's my friend and I would want someone to tell me if I were in that situation. I do feel bad for her because she thought he was the one. Now she's pretty sad and I don't think she can handle her world crumbling right now. I have not talked to her on the phone, but she has replied to some texts. No, it is better this happened before kids are involved. It will be hard for her, but in the long run, better. OP's friend will thank OP when she looks back on this chapter. Got what he deserved, and to blame you for outing his infidelity when the wedding just happened with his cousin's wife to boot? Well, he can cry in his girlfriend's arms, and I'm sure the family will not attend the wedding. His family might be having a double divorce since he was cheating with his cousin's wife. As for him being threatened with a civil suit and being left broke and likely having to move back in with his parents or something, couldn't have happened to a more deserving guy. You're a really good friend. I hope that's the hardest thing you ever have to do, and I hope your friend forgives you for being the messenger. Not the a-hole, obviously. Seems like she did already. The fact she immediately apologized for lashing out. OP, please stay close to her during this time. You did an amazing thing for her telling the truth, especially in an age where people say it's not your business to tell. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to be the bigger person and apologize to my sister-in-law's husband? The entire family, in-laws, have been divided since last year when some BS happened. I went to my sister-in-law's house to visit, and my sister-in-law's husband slapped my 7-year-old ASD child across the face for running in the house. It wasn't overly hard, but I don't think that matters. Obviously, no running in the house is a set rule, but where my child is on a spectrum, he needs frequent reminders. The skip runs when steaming. We hadn't even been at the house for 15 minutes at most when this happened, and my sister-in-law's husband gave no warning or reminder. It happened so quick that I didn't even have the chance to speak to my kid myself. He just walked up, slapped my son in the face, and yelled, "No running in the house." I immediately called the cops, and when they were at the house, I called my husband who left work to come be with us. My sister-in-law's husband basically ran indoors with his tail between his legs the second my husband showed up. My husband and I fought this for months, trying to get my sister-in-law's husband charged, but ultimately the courthouse did nothing and neither did the cops. He got away with it. Since this happened, half of the family has stopped visiting my sister-in-law at all. This is a huge deal because my sister-in-law throws multiple family functions a year, and family's huge to her. But they basically told her that since she stood by her husband and defended her husband on this, they wanted nothing to do with her. Guilty by association, basically. We also went no contact with her and her husband. Given the police reports and it being on both sister-in-law and her husband's background reports, while the investigation and court hearings were open, they were both fired from their jobs. Sister-in-law was a caseworker. Her husband was an assistant principal. My sister-in-law apparently started working retail at minimum wage, but her husband hasn't worked since because he's too depressed. Well, in the more recent months, we have been contacted by a few family members asking us to forgive and forget so that family life can pick up as usual. I outright refuse. I never told anyone they had to stop associating with these people. They did it on their own. But sister-in-law and her husband also have these people convinced that my son ran into this man's hand, and that he didn't slap him at all, and that they lost their jobs and livelihood because I dramatically twisted the story. Now, my mother-in-law, who never stopped contact, is asking me to be the bigger person and apologize to sister-in-law and her husband for making them lose their jobs over a mistake, so that the family functions can start again and the whole family can be together. She says she's getting too old to lose out on family time over a mistake. I basically told her tough, and that sister-in-law and her husband are dead to me, and I don't care who has a problem with it. But apparently, I'm what's keeping the family divided, because a good portion of the family says they will only forgive when I do. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. No, do not freaking apologize. You aren't the one in the wrong here. Did either of them apologize to you? Did they apologize to your son? Until both of them sincerely apologize, you owe them nothing. You didn't make them lose their jobs. Their awful behavior did that. This is a hill to die on, not the a-hole. They did not apologize, no. They're saying I'm being overdramatic and just trying to convince everyone that it didn't happen like that. Tell anyone who wants you to bury the hatchet that they're free to spend time with violent child abusers and liars, that you never told them to stop. But that given there's been no apology and no justice, that you won't be around two supposed adults too scared to admit what they've done. That running into his hand is up there with husbands saying their wives tripped. That part right here. Also, the fact she was a caseworker screams hella disturbing. And he was an assistant principal, okay with hitting children? Absolutely not. There was no mistake. That grown man raised his hand, brought it down across my child's face, and said no running in the house. Sister-in-law and brother-in-law are lying, and I will not change my story in life for them to make their lives easier. That man hit my child. It's bad enough that you condone his abuse of my son, but if you ever again ask me to apologize, husband, I and our son will go no contact with you. Lying about what happened and apologizing is not being the bigger person. It's selling out my son. You may be okay with failing him as his grandmother, but I will never fail him as his mother. If it were me, this would be peppered with many F-bombs, but not everyone likes their language as colorful as I. Good luck with this. Last story. Am I the a-hole for not wanting a relationship with my brother and sister-in-law after they admitted they were jealous of my 5 and 6-year-old nephews? I am an aunt to 2 nephews, 5 and 6 years old on my side, and to a niece and nephew, 1 and 3 on my husband's side, the children of the brother and sister-in-law. In December of 2023, I was blocked and deleted off all social media by my sister-in-law. I reached out to ask why with no response back. Ever since that day, my husband, 2-year-old daughter, and I have been shunned by the side of the family. Fast forward to the last couple of weeks, and they have reached out to us asking for an apology. When I ask for the reasoning of us being shunned, as I cannot apologize for something I am unaware I did, they proceeded to tell me they needed to step back and delete me and not talk to me or my family any longer because I was spending too much time with my other nephews, and because I had a sleepover with them in the summertime, that it was not fair to their kids. I explained to them that in the last year my nephew's parents had gotten a divorce. Their grandfather died, their grandmother was removed from home due to severe dementia. Their best friends and neighbors moved over an hour drive away. They had another house they had to adjust to because of the divorce, and were now having behavioral and mental health issues due to poor adjustment. The sleepover took place in the summer, so the kids could be somewhere happy while their dad moved out of the home. They responded by telling me that my nephew's problems had nothing to do with them, and that just because their kids aren't always in a dire situation doesn't mean I should have been spending a bit more time with my other nephews over their kids. I explained to them that though I wish I could divide every hour of my day equally amongst the people I love, unfortunately some people in our lives go through time periods where they need a bit more love and time from us than others. Also, looking back on social media at my calendar, it showed that I had seen both sets of kids the exact same amount of visits the entire year prior to me being shunned. I also explained to them that my nephews on my side have only ever slept over for 2 nights with us since they were born. My brother-in-law's son has also slept over 2 nights a full year before my other nephews ever had a sleepover with us. I also stated that age played a role as well, since their children are only 3 and 1. They kept demanding we apologize even though we did, many times, for making them feel insecure and pointed out that it was never our intention. The apology was deemed not good enough, and they have stopped responding other than to make mention of how comfortable they are in their choice to step away from us. It is concerning to me that they would throw away our entire relationships and their contact with their niece over this. And because of this, I do not ever want to reconcile. I no longer consider them family. Am I the a-hole for no longer considering them family and closing all future opportunities to reconcile? Edit. They also during all of this went on to mention that I never made it up to them for not being able to make it to either of their kids' birthday parties this year even though I was shunned. My daughter has asthma and started daycare, so we were sick for months. I also missed both my other nephews' birthdays this year. My husband still went to both of their kids' birthdays on behalf of our family. I also mentioned to them that the sister-in-law and their kids had never gone to any of my daughter's birthday parties. This was something I never expected to be made up to my daughter, as I assumed if they weren't there, it was because their kids were sick or because life got in the way. The expectations are very one-sided and manipulative. I just cannot continue to tiptoe around whatever storyline they're creating in their minds over innocent things. Not the a-hole. They're manipulative and jealous. They're trying to control you. Don't try to please them because you never will meet their unidentified standards. This isn't your problem. They sound completely nuts. Better for your mental health to go no contact with them and anyone either dumb or loony enough to support their imaginary slight. And please stop apologizing. You did nothing wrong. Not the a-hole. My way or the highway. Well, better get going before the traffic starts, I say. These people are unhinged. The 3 and 1-year-olds are not keeping tabs on how many times you visit. Their parents are. Honestly, I wouldn't bother with someone like this. Those are my thoughts exactly. But this entire experience has been incredibly painful for my husband, as it is his older brother mistreating us. My husband begged, "I'm sorry, I'll do better. Please stop this. I just want this over. I love the kids," begging not to be further ostracized from the kids. Several times. For them to still say my husband and I have not taken accountability or apologized for not giving their kids enough attention. My heart is broken watching my husband beg terrible people to keep innocent children that we love in our lives.